In this final segment, we want to touch on how art and music is for everyone because it is good for every part of us, including our soul. Now, the writer Kurt Vonnegut Jr., I'm probably slaughtering his name, but I'm tried, once said that the secret to a successful life was to practice art, any kind of art. It didn't matter if it was poetry, music, painting, or sculpting, because it was about creating something that will help you understand yourself. And he said, make your soul grow. Now, what would you think life would look like without any of this, Trinity?
Without art or without expression.
Mm.
I think like
If any,
well,
in
like we
any
said with
form.
aesthetic awareness, it's so the impact is so subconscious, so don't
Mhm.
think about it.
Right.
And yet, without any form of aesthetic, we would just have nothing. Aesthetics come into the picture from the moment you start to build or do anything,
Mhm.
because from what you wear to how you choose to build something, whether you make something a circle or a square or a star or a whatever,
Mhm.
it impacts everything. So I think that there's this quote that's very famous now, that the earth without art is just which
That's a quote.
yeah, like is just a great little saying there, that the earth without it, it's very dull, because art and creativity is it's such an abundance and an overflow of human
Yeah.
connection, of human creativity.
I like that you say that it is an overflow. I don't think we
Yeah,
talk about that enough. Then people are like, well, you have to conjure it up. But actually, if we're living in our fullness, we're just letting it flow out of us
yeah,
because it should be an overflow.
yeah. Well, that's what I'm also passionate about, is that many people, in order to make something a career, you have to think about how to sell it, how to make it work.
Right. The
But
business
also,
side of it.
creatives don't just want to create to make something useful. We
Mhm.
often create for the sake of processing, just to express something. And people say, "Well, why?" You're like, "I don't know why. I'm kind of trying to figure that out myself." And yet, through creativity, it has such a big impact on society.
Mhm.
Creativity, and it is culture.
It is
Creativity and
culture.
aesthetics is
Yeah,
what makes culture, and what
exactly.
makes the differences and the similarities between every country. So,
Yeah. Well,
mhm.
they said, what can a day look like when applying an aesthetic mindset? So,
Your day can look like my day
okay.
when I look at butterflies, and like you tease me
I
for.
do.
I was FaceTiming you a couple of months ago, and
Yeah.
I was like, "Mom, look, bee." And there was a bee on top of a flower in front of me, and you just said, "Oh, that's so you." It's noticing. It's noticing. It's being aware of what's around you, and taking a moment to appreciate it, actually, and enjoy it for a second.
Well, I think that was, and they gave an example, and I'll just kind of read it. It's like having daily light bulbs and really soaking in that the smell of your coffee, and maybe having some music going. And when you go on your way to work, maybe
Oh, yeah.
taking in the nature around you, the trees, the flowers on your street, or maybe there's some horses in a field or something, and you let that permeate, and maybe you use that to help bring creativity in your work, or maybe you have a hobby, or you create a hobby, and maybe that becomes a business later, or it's just something you like to do on the side, and
Yeah.
whether it's doodling or whatever, and that's just literally taking time to smell the roses,
Yep.
like the actual roses,
Yeah.
not just saying it,
Yeah.
but slowing down and just acknowledging it, and how that is creative, that
Yeah.
aesthetic awareness, that aesthetic mindset.
Yeah.
I think it's wonderful. And then countless studies show that art, whether it's sounds, colors, drawing, painting, dancing, or sculpting, can reduce stress. I know that,
Yeah.
anxiety, pain, and trauma, while also prolonging
Yeah.
life and improving your general well being. From your experience, do you see this connected?
I can see that, and yes, I see that connection. And also, when you were saying that, it made me think about, without just creativity and without expression, life is just about surviving. It's
Right.
just about eating. It's just about working. It's just about drinking. It's
Mhm.
just about living, and living for the sake of living. But living
Mhm.
for what? You don't
Right.
want to just survive. Life should be about thriving. And you
Right.
see, even in the simplest of societies, there's art, there's carvings, there's wall paintings. There's
Yeah.
from the beginning of human history, there has been creativity, and that is thriving,
I
I
love that.
think.
I love that. Trinity, thank you so much for joining me
Thank you
today.
very much.
I love talking about art. We thrive on
Yes.
it. Art, music, and creative expression are vital parts of society for both human connection and human understanding. We don't have to be trained fine artists in order to appreciate or experience creativity or to express our own. Slow down, cultivate an aesthetic awareness, and see for yourself how things might change. Taking a moment to actually stop and smell the roses could be just what you need. Thanks for joining me on A Healthy Dose.